These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Craig McKee with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Now to this, 3 first responders are recovering after a fire ripped through a mobile home in Peoria on Wednesday. Firefighters rushing into the home near 75th Avenue in Peoria to rescue a trapped woman. She was taken to the hospital in critical condition, we're told. Sadly, a dog was found dead inside the home. 2 firefighters and a police officer were treated on the scene and did not go to the hospital. ABC 15 continuing to track the fallout of expiring SNAP benefits. We're now just over 24 hours away from a hunger crisis exploding across the entire country. And here in Arizona, the Sweet James Chopper was up over St. Mary's Food Bank this morning as cars lined up around the block to get free food assistance for them and their families. Just under 1 million Arizonans rely on SNAP to put food on the table. That includes about 1 in 10 adults and a full quarter of Arizona's children. Smaller food banks in the valley telling ABC 15 today they may not be able to handle the surge of demand here. Places like Arizona Kosher Pantry in Central Phoenix, for instance, particularly vulnerable. The pantry, which serves kosher food to anyone who needs it, says they're already seeing new clients coming in ahead of the SNAP cutoff. Managers say they can't predict what will happen once nearly 900,000 Arizonans lose SNAP access.
I don't know how slammed we're going to be. That's why we're keeping some food back right now. And major things like milk and eggs, we do not have.
The pantry is asking for donations of food or cash to help meet their community's needs. Right now, a federal judge in Boston will decide whether the Trump administration must continue funding SNAP during the government shutdown. At the center of the shutdown fight is a Democrat effort here to extend ACA subsidies and keep health care premiums stable for the millions of Americans relying on the plans. Those premiums are set to skyrocket when open enrollment begins on Friday. According to a KFF analysis released on Tuesday, insurers are raising premiums on Affordable Care Act plans by an average of 26%. What enrollees actually pay depends on their share of household income. Without the enhanced tax credits that expired during the shutdown, the KFF report finds monthly premiums could double, increasing by about 114% on average. Michael Cannon with the Cato Institute, who opposes the government-run health plan, says letting the enhanced tax credits expire shows what he calls the true cost of the Affordable Care Act.
If your total premium was $12,000 and you were getting an $11,000 subsidy, then instead of paying $1,000 toward your health insurance premium, you're going to have to pay the full $12,000. Now, you can call that a 1,100% increase, and that's accurate. But the most important thing to remember is that is the full cost of Obamacare, including all of the unnecessary regulations that are doubling your premiums.
About 24 million Americans get their health insurance through the government marketplace. Earlier this week, ABC 15 spoke to both Senator Ruben Gallego and Senator Mark Kelly. Both senators remain steadfast in their position of no deal to fund the government unless the subsidies are extended. Uplifting Arizona tonight, several families will be watching NASCAR closely on Saturday, specifically driver Joey Gase, driving number 53, by the way. He's going to be driving with the photo of Abraham Torres on his bumper. He was a Valley 16-year-old who loved boxing and sports. His mother, Brooke, tells us her son was boxing with an unknown concussion when he got hit in the head, rupturing a blood vessel, costing him his life. His mother made sure he was an organ donor, where now 5 people have received one of Abraham's organs.
Knowing that I could help my son, help other people, it was a no-brainer for me. It was definitely something that I knew was going to happen as soon as I knew I lost him.
Joey Gase, by the way, will race on Saturday with not only Abraham's picture on the bumper, but also messages from some of the donor recipients.
Tracking your forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins. Temperatures dropping a little bit as we head into the weekend. Tomorrow we'll shake the 90s and get down into the upper 80s. Not a significant cool down, but a mental victory as we get out of the 90s on Halloween for tomorrow. And temperatures for trick-or-treating are going to be in the low 80s around 6 p.m. and 7, and then cooling into the 70s after that here across the Phoenix metro area. Across the state, we'll see highs in the 60s in Flagstaff, Heber, and Show, 70s in Sedona, Payson, and Prescott, and 80s out west along the Colorado River for tomorrow afternoon. Phoenix, we're going to spend Saturday in the 80s as well. And then as high pressure re-intensifies over the desert southwest, we've got more 90s to come Sunday and Monday. We typically get rid of these 90s toward the end of October. Usually right around October 30th is our last 90-degree day. But we have gone all the way through the middle of November before, back in 2020, with 90-degree days in the forecast. This one, first week of November, is looking warm, upper 80s for the middle of next week.